Yes, the voice of the Patriot, and here we speak truth to power. My brother, my sister, here we don't compromise the truth. That is why we say we are never neutral. We stand with the truth. We have taken sides, the side of the truth. We are the headquarters of the truth. My brother, my sister, here we don't criticize, but if we must, it would only be on one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we keep saying we are in the service of God and country. This is the voice of the Patriot, and my name, Blakk Rasta. Now, my brother, my sister, this is our daily editorial, and my name is certainly Blakk Rasta, and I want to say thank you so much for coming along. I appreciate you and I love you. Now, the very first story we are looking at today is taken from Ghana, wherever. My brother, my sister, it says, and I read, tell us what you earn from the party. Abronye slums NPP financiers. And I read, the Bono regional chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Kwame Bafo, has called on financiers of the party to disclose what they have benefited in return for their contributions. According to Bafo, who is popularly known as Abronye DC, this would enable party members to conduct a cost-benefit analysis to show that the party has the men. They always talk about the kinds of support they have given to the party, but they intentionally don't mention what they have also benefited from the party because they are financiers. If something the party is for them and that they can destroy it, they should bring it on, and I will face them, he said. His name is Abronye DC. Kwame Bafo, aka Abronye. My brother, my sister, I support Abronye DC in one way or the other. Generally, my brother, my sister, how many people finance a political party without looking forward to earning financially back? If it was all about the ideologies, then we would say, okay, they are doing it for ideological reasons. But no, when they finance the party, they are expecting that they will reap several fold monetarily what they have invested. It tells you how terrible politics is. Nobody is actually genuine. Everybody is looking for a way to fill in his belly. Everybody is trying to get the lion's share. Nobody really is talking and thinking about the poor voter. And the voter, the citizen, always becomes the sacrifice. I don't know how many people are following this. My brother, we have many people who claim they are financiers of some political parties. When they start financing it, if you are close to them, you will start hearing them ask questions. I've been financing this party. I did this, I did that. I've not received anything in return, no contracts. I have not been able to even scoop back half of the money that I put in the party. So it's a business investment. So where is the patriotism? These are businessmen and women who do not have a scintilla of patriotism. All they are interested in is how much they can rake back. And please juxtapose this with the welfare of the citizenry. If every financier is that selfish, they are looking for all government contracts. Canada Japan gets angry most of the time when he doesn't get government contracts because he's invested so much in the party and he's a businessman. He is not necessarily in there for patriotic reasons. He is there, my brother, my sister, because he wants some money back. How many of these financiers will be cool with the fact that they have invested and their party comes into power and they shake hands with them and say, in the name of democracy and patriotism, may God bless you? No, they won't take even the blessing of God. They want the blessing of cash. They want a financial blessing. They want to be able to get contracts for themselves and their families. They want to be able to get the lion's share. Abronya DC is making a lot of sense. Yes, a lot of the time Abronya DC is just ranting and talking. But my brother, my sister, let's look at this very deeply. He's made a big point. When they sponsor the party, they are first to come out and make noise that they have paid so amount of money to push the party to win. But when the party pays them back their investment by giving them contracts and so on and so forth, which most of the time they shoddily execute. But because their party is in power, they disregard all the quality checks and allow them to rip off the nation. They never come back to tell us, oh, I invested 2 pesos in the party and I had 10 cedis in return. No, it is not for them to say that. But they are quick to tell you how much they invest. Abronya DC is starting a very beautiful war. Yes, I think that it makes a lot of sense. Yes, he might not have done the contract for these people. But the underlying fact is that a lot of these contracts are shoddily executed. The checks and balances, the quality checks are all absent. All they are interested in is seeing some coal tar on the road, and they take huge amounts of money as if they built a whole motorway. We all know that. At the end of the day, my brother, and this is where I conclude, who suffers? Mother Ghana. Who suffers? The citizenry. Who suffers? The coffers. Who suffers? It is us, the poor voters. Should we be friends with politicians? No. For me, my brother, my sister, I don't want to be friend with dirty politicians. Dirty politicians. A lot of them, my brother, my sister, are only thinking about milking the nation. They are selfish. I leave it here. Now the next story I would like us to look at is equally interesting, and you need to come along. I'm taking that from Ghana Web, and it says, decision to give absolute power to NDC will haunt Ghanaians soon. And this is a guy called Collins Owusu Amankwa. My brother, my sister, he's a former MP of Parliament, in fact, of Manshia North. Collins Owusu Amankwa. That's his name. I read. Former member of Parliament for Manshia North, Collins Owusu Amankwa, has expressed worry over the absolute power Ghanaian people have given to the National Democratic Congress. He is of the view that that decision is a dangerous one, which may come back to haunt the people of Ghana very soon. Collins Amankwa, who was speaking on Accra Bakes Asempa FM, could not hide his fear of how the NDC may abuse the power they have to head the people of Ghana. Now, giving absolute power to NDC is very dangerous. The signs are now clear that we have made a mistake by giving the NDC 2/3 majority. We will wake up one morning and hear they have passed a dangerous law. Just few months after taking power, we will wake up every morning and Parliament has passed one law or the other. This is dangerous, and funny enough, we cannot do anything about it. Ghanaians will regret this, he said. He cited the example of the D-levy, among other taxes the government has introduced since it took over power. Some of the reasons why is a dangerous decision that the NDC has absolute power. There's a Jamaican proverb that I know and I love so much. You know what it says? Thief no one see a next thief with a long bag. Translated. Thief no one see a next thief with a long bag. Kronphobia no. On pesa obe pie se okowi ade na we hu se ne nyanko kronfo ekuta bag kese e kire se ade a ono okowia no ne nyanko kronfo akowia. I hope my tree did justice to this. Hallelujah. My brother, my sister, when they were in power, my brother, even 100% power, they were angels, so it was a good reason to give it to them. We voted them massively into power. We chased Mahama out with a big gavel of disgrace. We knocked his head open and chased him into the doldrums. Even people who used to call him early in the morning and say, "Oh, Mr. President, good morning, how are you?" They all stopped calling him. Even people, my brother, my sister, who used to send him hampers during the Easter and Christmas, all of a sudden, they became hamperless. In fact, they truly had the hampers, but they had new loyalties. They wanted to give those to people who were in power so they could get back. They were only investing business-wise in order to reap several-fold. That is how selfish politics is. Now, this guy here, who is a former MP, is a very selfish guy. Very, very selfish guy, and he's a dangerous guy. This is a guy who, in one way or the other, supports the Delta Forces, that terrorist vigilante group. He doesn't see why a member of this terrorist vigilante group should not be given bail, even though he boasted on social media that he was the Ashanti regional chairman of that terrorist vigilante group known as the Delta Force. In the full glare of Ghanaians, we saw how these terrorist vigilante groups stormed our courthouses and freed people who were standing trial. And nobody dared cough, or else you would visit a shallow, early grave. Hallelujah. Hear me now. Now, this brother here says that we have given 2/3 majority to the NDC. What does it mean? It means that the NDC can abuse power, can come out and pass any law, and he gave an instance of the D levy. My brother, my sister, Ghanaians are happy about the so-called Dumso levy. Today, Mahama himself has banned everybody around him in the name of an appointee from getting fuel allowances. He himself, as the president, has no fuel allowance. All the money right now, my brother, my sister, that will be recouped, would be used to deal with the energy crisis in the country. Again, my brother, my sister, the so-called D-levy would be used to strengthen our energy sector, so that we don't have to be running helter-skelter to be looking for energy in Nigeria, in Cote d'Ivoire, and looking for some kind of what energy to bring us what amount of power and all that. These are all in the past, and these guys are not happy about it. All they are interested in is that somebody has 2/3 majority. And for that matter, the person could come out and do anything. Yes, there's the possibility. But Mahama has demonstrated beyond all doubt, unless he changes and becomes a chameleon, that he is not ready for this absolute power. Mahama says he's going to deal with the constitution. He says the president has too much power, and he wants to come out and, in fact, shave off some of the powers that our presidents have always wielded. Is this a man who is ready for absolute power? You perform so abysmally. And instead of dealing with the canker that is eating your party, you are cosmetizing the whole thing. What they are doing is cosmeticism. Hallelujah. Say it again, Blakk Rasta. Cosmeticism. My brother, my sister, they are garnishing a rotten sore. My brother, my sister, with bandages without any ointment. Hallelujah. My brother, my sister. These are people we should take seriously. Their arrogant president is a man no Ghanaian wants to even think about anymore. Nana Addo has destroyed this party called the NPP. He and Bawumia have destroyed the very fiber of this party. You will never come into power unless the NDC is tired and decides to misbehave. Other parties will come into power after the NDC and not the NPP. You have betrayed the trust of Ghanaians. Today, they have 2/3 majority. How many times have we had that in the Parliament of Ghana since the inception of our independence? Today, the NDC has 2/3. We all remember the e-levy, when you were to go into hospitals and remove people who were lying down on the surgeon's table with their heads ripped apart. My brother, my sister, for brain surgery. Canada, Japan on my mind. Shipped in order to vote for e-levy. We saw a minister who was carried in an ambulance with all the emergency services available, parked in front of the Parliament House for this minister to come in and vote for e-levy. What was the aftermath of the e-levy? Was that absolute power? Did you twist the hands of Ghanaians? Ghanaians watched all this, and today they've paid you back. You have suffered the biggest electoral loss in the history of this country, maybe in the history of the whole Africa and beyond. What these guys should be thinking about, how they can fix their sick arrogance, how they can fix the dirty corruption that kicked them out of power, is the Black Pot. Now the final story I would like to look at is equally interesting, and I'm just going to spend about 2 minutes on this and I'll be done. I'm taking this from my Joy Online, and it says we will pay. Government scrambles to clear 700 million Ghana City scholarship debt. And I read, the Youth Development and Empowerment Minister has disclosed that the government is currently negotiating with educational institutions across the world to settle outstanding scholarship debts. George Opariado, aka Pablo, assures affected Ghanaian students that the money owed will be paid. Speaking to Joy News' PM Express on Tuesday, July 22, the minister revealed that the government inherited a significant financial burden in the scholarship system. Now, the current bill that I have is over 700 million in debt that we have to find money to pay. He said, there is a debt of fees that we have across the world. And so my registrar now has to go around the world and negotiate with schools. And that is what we've been undertaking in the last 4 or 5 months. I keep sending them, go here, go there, because you keep getting threats all over the world. We are going to sack your students, he said. Mr. Opariado stressed that the situation demands urgent attention and coordination at the highest level. This is a responsible government. And what this guy here is doing, his name is George Opariado. I know him as Pablo. When I call him, I don't need to say Honorable Minister. I say Pablo. And it's cool. Unlike those of us If they have 20 million titles, they want you to spend the next 10 hours mentioning the titles before you say good morning. Doctor, Reverend, Bishop, Archbishop, say, blah, 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 blah. For the next 4 hours, you are mentioning titles before you say, I'm here to say good morning. 4 hours of production time swept under the carpet in vain. Can I go into the subject? My brother, this man here is a lawyer, and he knows the implications of debts, especially when it has to do with contractual agreements. Can I go deeper? They inherited a debt of 700 million Ghana cedis. You know how much that is? 700,000 American dollars. Am I right? Or is it 7 million American dollars? My brother, my sister, they have inherited so much debt. 700 million Ghana cedis. And my brother, my sister, who amassed all this debt? The NPP. My brother, when you had people like Gifty Owari going into the coffers of poor, needy students, educational funds, to go out there and educate themselves, what do you expect? When you see so much thievery, all the way from Kwabena Edubuahin down to Gifty Owari, all the way through, my brother, my sister, Mustafa Hamid, and all these guys, what do you expect? We all saw how they took advantage of the National Service Scheme, how they took advantage of these scholarships and pushed their Goro boys to fly out of the country, all in the pretense of going to school, but flying outside the country to go and seek greener pastures. We even saw a man who was campaigning to be an MP in the area tell us that, oh, the America World Cup is coming. We are going to take you. I have done it before, and we will do it. We will take you outside the country for you to go and work. Such a guy, by now, should have been in the hottest part of hell. But we allowed all these dunderheads to be walking amongst us. Your party is in power. The best you can do is to fly people out of the country to go and seek greener pastures. What promise did you make to us before you came into power? Well, I just want to say congratulations to the government in power. Keep negotiating. If it was the NPP, the government that took us captive, they would have gone out there to borrow from the IMF in order to deal with this. They will borrow and pay. Keep borrowing and blowing it on themselves. I want to see this issue dealt with so that our students can go and get knowledge and return and develop this nation. Another thing they should be doing is to ensure that every student who is sponsored by the government to go and study, in fact, returns into the country. How can you assure that? Patriotism. And that's my office. The office of the Patriot. To deal with the patriotism of the nation. You don't need to police students to force them home. When you deal with the patriotism levels, they imbibe that, they will certainly return to the nation because they are in a hurry to see the country develop. Don't let us treat symptoms. Let's deal with the root cause.
Ya waleta matamsanga